Hello everyone, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this conversation with Andrew Geddes, Scaling Up for Business. Andrew is the chair of Green Cross Limited, or in fact he was for 11 years, and he's a well-known consultant to the Australian accounting industry. How are you today, Andrew?
Very well, thank you, Peter.
That's very good. What we want to move on to is the first question we want to put to you today. What is the scaling up process and how does it help small business owners and managers?
Well, Peter, it's really about better business planning, communications and leadership in a small business. It's a 7-step process, to put it simply. The first step is to form a senior leadership team rather than trying to drive change and innovation all by yourself, and engage with the team and begin to think about where would you like to take your business over the next 3 to 5 years and try and define what you want it to look like in that time scale. So what are you trying to achieve with revenue, with profit margins? What type of services and products are you going to offer? Can you drive new innovative services and products with better profit margins than you've had in the past? So it's a planning process and a communication process with several of, well, it depends on the size of the business, but you can have a senior leadership team of up to a dozen people, as we had in Green Cross. But at that stage, we were a pretty 1,200 person organisation. So create a senior leadership team in a small business. That might be just 2 or 3 people. Define the development direction, document your business why. Now, that's the focus or the purpose of the business. For example, I'm involved with a manufacturing engineering group in Newcastle who offer environmental services. They clean up messes, basically oil spills, smells, and all those sorts of things. So their business why is summarised in a simple statement is we clean up Australia. Now, that gives them some vim and verve to get out of bed in the morning because they're doing good for the communities and through their work with their clients. So that's their passion expressed in that way. The 4th step then is very important, looking at the core values in the business. These define what is acceptable behaviour or not acceptable behaviour. So we get the senior leadership group to document what they think the core values should be around things like integrity and honesty and helping others, providing service, training and mentoring. And that drives the internal culture or atmosphere in the business. And if it's focused on experimenting and taking calculated risks to try new things, it helps drive innovation. So if you craft a good set of core values that encourages that type of behaviour, people won't be frightened to have a go and make suggestions because of the atmosphere that you've created. Yep. The 5th step is then to think about what have we got to nail in the next quarter? What are 2 or 3 strategic initiatives? It might be improve the website and do some digital marketing. It might be put in a point of sale stock control system and reorder system. It could be thinking about a new service offering. For example, one of my civil engineers found that the traditional design and construct and documentation side of the business was slowing down due to the slowing economy in the construction area. So we moved into asset inspection and maintenance plan construction and documentation for local government and grew work there. So what are the 3 things we've got to nail this quarter? And let's set some project groups up involving people in the business in those project groups, and they should be meeting weekly, documenting the actions and who's going to do them and by when, and reporting back to a monthly operational meeting. So that really is the 6th step, and that is what is the pattern of meetings that we should structure. For example, we might have an annual planning meeting, and then we might have quarterly resets of the 3 things we've got to nail, our strategic initiatives. We might have monthly operational meetings looking at budget performance, actuals versus budgets. We might have weekly sales meetings looking at what jobs have we got on, which jobs do we have to finish this week, what are the priorities, who's working on them. And then finally, what are the functional responsibilities? Who's the person to go to? So in terms of HR, recruiting, selection, induction, looking at payroll and contract administration, looking at marketing and brand development, looking at sales, looking at operations, looking at premises, or ICT, information and communications technologies. So who are the people responsible for the various functional areas? And if it's a very small business, perhaps some of them may be outside contractors, such as an external IT person. Once we've been through those 7 steps of looking at development direction, creating the senior leadership group, documenting our focus and our purpose, documenting our core values, identifying the 3 things we've got to nail this quarter, putting the meetings into, sorry about that, that's my phone going off, putting meetings into, I'll just put it on silent, I should have done that before we started, looking at the meetings put into the diary so we know what we're going to do and when, and who's responsible for the functional areas. That's the scaling up process. It involves careful thinking, planning, documentation, and then running reviews of how we're going, and it lifts communication and engagement of the team. And it works in small, medium and big businesses.
Yeah, that's very good, Andrew. Thank you very much. And what we'll now do is just go to the next slide. And the next question I wanted to put to you as part of this process of giving company directors and senior managers in small businesses and medium-sized enterprises a better understanding. So will company directors and senior managers benefit from gaining an appreciation of how crowdsourced funding equity raising can assist them in this scaling up process?
Yes, Peter. When it comes to the raising of capital, a small business may have some retained earnings, or they might go to the bank. They might look for private equity, angel investors, or this new alternative that's come through from the federal government, crowdsourced equity raising. And as you know, there's been about 36 successful capital raisings in the last 12 months since this has come in. In order to do this, you have to register your plans with an intermediary, as you know, and they'll require you to have a documented business plan, budgets, and the structures that I was talking about in the scaling up process. So if you do all of the scaling up process, you're virtually ready then to register all of that information with your intermediary if you wish to move to that source of capital raising.
Yes, it's a great preparation, isn't it?
Yes, it's a good discipline, and even if the company grows and you might then think of going to an IPO, in doing a crowdsourced equity raising, you've had a practice at it. I mean, it costs about 100 to 200 grand compared to $1 million for an IPO. So it's rather good if you've done a small one beforehand and had that experience, and then you'll do hopefully a better job next time if you go to the bigger IPO.
Okay, so thank you very much. Obviously, crowdsourced funding can help supply the cash that these companies are going to need.
Absolutely. It's an alternative source, and it's probably, in terms of private equity, they'll want margins and shares, or they want highest interest rates. So it's just another alternative that, although you're giving some of your equity in exchange for the capital, it might be a more suitable source of finance for some of the smaller businesses as they scale up and grow.
Yes, that's right. Okay, we'll just have a look at the next question I want to go to. Where are the scaling up masterclasses that you and a couple of other people are going to be held, and what is the investment to attend, please, Andrew?
We're running them in Brisbane, Adelaide and Sydney. There's the dates on the screen. It is $1,995 for the first person and $1,795 for the second, and the third person can come for free. So we're trying to get small businesses to bring a bigger team, or even bring their mentor or coach or accountant and attend as a group and work on the business together. The faculty is very exciting. I'm involved, as is my CEO of Green Cross Limited, Dr. Glenn Richards from Shark Tank fame. and Anna Samios, who is a scaling up master coach and was the global Dux of her year when she first did that training back in 2017. Moira Geddes, who is David Kosh's production manager on digital marketing, and Alan Miltz, who wrote the chapters on cash management in Vern Harnish's book, Scaling Up. So we've got a fantastic faculty. These are workshops, so participants will be put through detailed planning activities. Well, you know, you came to the inaugural one we ran in Sydney last October.
That's right, and it was a very good couple of days, very intensive, but had some very interesting companies there on that particular workshop.
Yes, well, from HR consultants to mattress manufacturers to a big hospitality group through to engineers and people involved in the construction industry. It was a variety of small businesses, Peter. That makes these programs very interesting.
Yeah.
With all those focus, they identify their ideal customers and look at how they might market more effectively and grow profitable business into the future.
Okay, now to register, Andrew, what do business people have to do?
Go to your website, essbiztools.com.au, or mine, andrewgeddes.com.au, and there's a brochure on the Scaling Up Masterclasses. All you've got to do is follow the instructions.
Yes, well, they're available on the ESS BizTools and the ESS Small Business website, www.esssmallbusiness.com.au. So thank you very much for today, Andrew, and
Thank you, Peter.
I'll talk
Pleasure.
to you when next we have one of these sessions.
Absolutely.
Have a
See
great
you.
day.
Thanks, Pete.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.